Hi everybody, welcome to the Blue Box Stitcher. My name is Catherine and this is my Flosstube channel, aka my channel where I talk about cross stitch. Cross stitch is my main hobby. I've been doing it for about, I don't know, at this point, 3 years. And it's something that I really enjoy and I have so much to share with you guys. I adjusted my ankle a little bit so you can see kind of the window, which I thought might be nice, but bear with me if the lighting is a little bit weird. And I've stitched on 7 projects since we last spoke, so I'm pretty excited and I think we should just get into it. I recently reorganized my craft space and now I have a little basket for like the things that I'm currently working on. I would say like all of my whips are active, but these are the ones that I worked on in like the last month or so. So they're not gonna be in any particular order. I'm just gonna like grab and show. The first one is, okay, this one was kind of a surprise. I worked on Garden Secrets by Carolyn Manning. I never know which way is up. It doesn't really matter, I guess, because it's like a mandala. Or I guess this is what it looks like. And here is where I got to. So I actually did quite a bit of stitching on this. I think I did almost 500 stitches. This is not something I had really anticipated doing a bunch of work on. I just have like other things that call to me more sometimes. And this one is like quite finicky, so sometimes it's like a little annoying to stitch on. I'm trying to fold it so I can like bring you closer in. But I actually went to LA to see my family, and this is a really good travel project because I have a thread keep that has all the colors on it, and it only has 10, I think. Yeah, there's only 10 colors. I have a thread keep on it, so I don't have to bring like any bobbins or anything. And it is like I don't know. It's finicky, but the actual chart itself is not that hard to read or anything like that. And so it worked out quite well because instead of going square by square, which I have been doing, I actually went up and then I did all this border, and then I worked down here. And I just think it looks so good. I'm like feeling, I don't know, I am traveling again at the first weekend of October, and I will definitely be bringing this. It's just a great travel project, and I don't know what's next for it, I guess. I have big end of year plans that I will go over in my plan section. This one, I don't necessarily have a plan for, but we'll see what happens with her. So there we go, whip number 1. Next up we have Capybara Tea Time by Needle Designs. Love her. I'm currently trying to do 500 stitches a month on it, so that I can finish it by the end of the year, a little bit before the end of the year, because I want to leave some space for like Christmas stitching if I feel in the mood. And I got so much work on her. This is all in August. Look at her! Ah! I am so excited. You can see that I really am almost done with the bottom half of this chart. Can I hold this? I need to get a board. I'm finally at the part, like at the stage where I'm like, yeah, I need a board. Like, how am I doing this? I'm not really gonna point, I guess. But I finished, I'm like almost done with this bottom portion. Like this is completely filled in pretty much, except for just a little bit at the T line. And then I started working on the top. I got this flower in. I really need to finish these leaves. And then I'm almost done with the teacup at the bottom. That one's just like kind of annoying because it's just long strings of stitching. And then I was almost done with this flower and I fully lost this orange floss, which is a reason that I decided to organize my craft space because I kept losing floss. But I love this. I am super happy with it. I can't wait for it to be on my wall. I feel like the end is in sight. Yeah, I don't have like a ton more to say, but I'm just in love with her. I think I did like 600 stitches on her, would be my guess. I was gonna do my stitch count from Notion, but I couldn't figure out how to do it, so that's a rip. My next one, I actually only really got like 100 stitches in, but I wanted to show it anyways. It is The Sea and the Shore by the Blue Flower, and I finished the octopus in the corner, Hank. He looks so good, like you're joking. This is actually not the color that's called for. So there's actually 3 colors in this. There's like the tentacle pink, like the suckers, that's the called for. And then the dark, I don't know what just happened to my voice. The dark brown, that's called for. But this orange was originally charted to be like a gray variegated thread, which I thought was kind of boring, to be honest. My octopuses are orange. And so I think it is Spiced Cloves by Gentle Arts. My mom actually helped me pick it out, and I'm super happy with it. I think it's gorgeous. He's done. I just have to put his eyes in, but that's like 2 stitches of each color. So I wanted to start something down here so I could like carry the thread. And then I also started the sun portion up here. There's like a day and a night over here. If you've been here before or you have eagle eyes, you may realize this border color is completely wrong. I know. But that was what I had stitched first, and so I had elected to stitch some of the motifs, so then when I rip out this border, it will be easier to redo it, because I'll have anchor points. And then like this, like I'll literally just be outlining it. Also, the fabric is like quite see-through when there's light shining behind it, but it's actually like a pretty solid fabric, like if you just look at it in person. So you can carry threads a bit. It's not like as see-through when you're just looking down at it. I don't think I said the fabric for anything. This is 16 count pewter by Witchelt. This uses like a million fancy flosses, and so I kind of wanted like a cheaper, just like base color. It's grayer on the model, but I wanted to go more blue. I'm making this for my godmother. And then really quick, this is on 16 count Celestine by Fiber on a Whim. And this is on 14 count Fog Sterling by Picture This Plus. And I would say it's like between a 14 and a 16, because Picture This Plus is tighter, which kind of works for me. Next I have, this is like project is kind of cursed, okay? This is Strawberry Moon by Stay Platinum Stitchery. I want this done, and it is so close to being done, but I was missing like 2 flosses, and I didn't really know. I was like, I should go to Michael's, so I go to Michael's, and then I, of course, bought the wrong floss. And that really stalled me out. I'll show you. That really stalled me out on it for a while. You can see I'm completely done with the clouds, okay? I literally just have to finish the green at the top, fill in the seeds, and then finish these like sparkly doodads. And then I'm done. I'm also going through these whips really fast. Maybe this will be a short video today. Yeah. I do think, okay, I have 2 thoughts about this. One, I was working on another project and I had an epiphany where I was like, I have enough floss that I could just substitute. Why am I like so pressed about what shade of pink is inside the strawberry? Pick a pink, get it done. This project I did for the Strawberry Moon Cell, hosted by Marjorie Maid, and I love it. I like it. And it was very satisfying to work on. It's not really my personal style. I think these clouds are a little pink for me in person, to be honest. But I like it. I think it will look cute on my wall, and I was really focused on finishing it because, one, it's smaller, it's a little over 2,000 stitches, and my roommate really likes strawberries. So I was like, I'll finish it and put it on the wall in our living room, and that will be cute. But I think because it's not necessarily like my personal style to a T, I'm like getting a little frustrated and stalled out on this, especially with like constantly losing all the floss colors. I've decided that I want a master DMC set. I'm not necessarily like building a master DMC set and that like I'm going to buy floss that I don't have. More like, you know, I'm like adding to it as I start new projects. But I want to stitch from my DMC set. For my Capybara Tea Time, I have this, which has proven to be pretty useful, to be honest. Like, this is pretty convenient for me, but I'm starting to lose track of like what DMC I own. I'll like take a bobbin off, thread my needle, and then I will like put it down on the couch next to me or something. Like, I literally have 3 bobbins on my armchair right now. So I want to be better about like if I'm stitching something, just like, and it's ridiculous because I don't have a big, there's a lot of like, this is my DMC set, okay? So I want to stitch from this. I want to pull a bobbin out, stitch it, put it back in, because I can't take it anymore. The goal eventually is to organize these by number and have a master DMC set. We're like a long ways from there, especially because I don't really see the point of buying DMC that I'm not actively using. So for the time being, like, I'll just be adding to it as I add more projects. I have a couple project starts that I will talk about that will use a lot of floss, so they will add. But I guess I had like 2 floss epiphanies where I was like, I want to stitch from this box. I'm over my floss being everywhere. It's going to be contained to the box. And I forget if I said this in the beginning, I did like reorganize my craft space. And I think I'm going to do a little tour of my craft. I just really use this corner, and then sometimes I'll move like a single project to like the couch in my living room or my bed, but this is like my central space. And I recently did a deep clean of it. I found my document that I needed for the DMV to change my car registration, so that was exciting, that I thought I lost. That goes to show the state of what it was. So I want it to be neat, I want it to be organized, I want to stitch from this box, and I also want to log all of the DMC that I own in Notion. I would not say I'm like an expert at Notion or good at Notion, but I bought Stitching Natty's template a while ago, and I really like logging my daily stitching and seeing how much stitching I get done during the month. Like in August, I did 1,900 stitches. I try to do 2,000 stitches a month generally, although when we get to my plans, I'm increasing. But I'm fine with 1,900. This summer was really weird for me. We're getting really off track, but we're also like really speeding. I have 2 whips left, so I'm like, I'm gonna ramble. Everyone, I feel like in their August recaps is like, I'm so excited for fall. I'm doing fall stitching. I'm ready for summer to be over. I live in Austin, Texas. Summer will not be over for like at least 2 months. Like, my brother's coming to see me, and it happens to be Halloween weekend, and he was like, oh my god, should I bring my onesie for when we go out? And I was like, you will be hot. October 31st in Austin, you're still gonna be hot. So summer's not going anywhere for me, so we're trying to like, I don't know. It's crazy to see everyone start talking about how excited they are for fall, and I'm like, I'm stuck here. Anyways, that was a tangent. I want to use the template for my DMC. I need to be more organized with my crafting because I'm going crazy. Anyway, the point of all that to say is also, now that I have more floss colors, I'm over. This needs to be done. This needs to be off my whip list. It should be done already. I did like maybe 300 stitches in August. It's got like 300 stitches left. I'm just gonna substitute colors at this point. I can't be bothered to go to Michael's again. And you know, you go to Michael's and you spend more money than you wanted to. So I really try to avoid Michael's and Target, because I just know I have no self-control in those stores. So that's that. I guess we'll go to my other small, and then we'll talk about my big guy, my big project. My next one is Progress Goose by Fine Frog Stitching, and it looks so good. It looks like a goose. I've just been casually working on him a little bit in August and a little bit in September. Like, I did his little feet. You can also so clearly see the thread since the light is coming through it. This is why I need a board. That's better. Yeah. I finally filled in like all of the white, and then I did this blue shadow, and then I had my epiphany where I was like, I don't have the right orange colors, and then I was like, girl, pick a light orange and a dark orange and be done with this. So that's what I'm doing. And then he has a progress flag right here that I think will be super cute, and I've been enjoying stitching on him. He's on 18 count color and cotton, like a mystery fabric that I got in a grab bag. So was the strawberry. That was on 14 count though. And yeah, I don't know. He's just cute. And I'm excited, and I'm gonna put him in a little frame when he's done. Yeah, I don't have much to say. He's part of my plans, which again. Okay, so now let's get into it. And you know, when I say that, we're gonna talk about the 2024 Stitch for Pride. What else would we talk about? I said in my last video that I want to finish this by Pride of 2026, which would be June. Although I have a tiny bit of leeway because Pride in Austin is technically in August. But we're gonna try to do it by June. That means that I have a lot of stitching to do. So, first, well, I guess I'll just show you what a big picture, and then we'll zoom in. This is what she looks like so far. I actually have quite a bit of progress on her since we last saw each other. I mean, this is... Okay. Let's, like, put a project bag under her and see if that helps. Maybe? I'm gonna... Yeah. This is what she looks like right now. These 3 motifs were done. This, I finally finished September 1st. This took me 3 months because I kept starting it, frogging it, starting it, frogging it, and right here, I made a mistake and frogged it 3 separate times, and so you can see that it's still wrong, very obviously, but I was like, I'm done. And so I finished this out, and then I counted correctly over here, and this is all correct, and this is all correct, and this one blob is just wrong. But I was like, I'm done with this. I can't be doing this anymore. We're over it. And I used a silky blendables thread, 12 weight for it. I liked using the silky. I'm actually not sure if I would use it again, to be honest, because I feel like it did shred a little bit when I was pulling it through, but I also kind of, now that I'm working on the next motif, I'm like, maybe this is shredding too. And I'm using like a color and cotton for that. So I don't really know. I don't know. I think it looks really nice. But I'm glad to be done with that motif. Next up, we're tackling the sriracha bottle, guys, okay? And I've gotten a lot of progress on it already. So, I'm using the color Habanero by, pretty sure it's Color and Cotton. I was a little nervous that it would look too similar to the motif that I have over here that's like in lesbian colors. You can say if you think it looks too similar in the comments, but I'm not frogging it. And I think it looks fine, honestly. It's like more orangey. It has some lighter parts that I hope to connect this, because I still think it sticks out. It's actually not white. It's like very subtly blue, red, and yellow. You can't see it on camera and you can barely see it in person, and I'm still salty about it. But yeah, this is where I've gotten to. So I've done in September like 600 stitches on this already. And that brings me to my plans. So let's put this away. We'll put these all back. Well, they're not all back going. Oh my God, words. They're not all going back in the basket because some of these are not going to be worked on in September. Let's discuss plans. So it is September, obviously. Sampler September. I've decided to go hard on Sampler September. And what I mean by that is I have 3 samplers. The first one, 2024 Stitch for Pride. I have also decided to call September Sriracha September. I'm doing that entire Sriracha bottle in September. Now, obviously, like, I guess everyone did when it came out. But the Sriracha bottle is like 2,000 stitches. It's one of, if not the biggest motif in the pattern. The only one that might be bigger in terms of stitch count is the love in the center. But honestly, I don't even know. Like, this is either the first or the second biggest in the pattern, and I want it out of the way. So, for Sampler September, I want to do 2,000 stitches on Stitch for Pride. You may recall I just said I try to do 2,000 stitches a month. I'm not a monogamous stitcher. At all. So, and I also want to stitch on my other samplers. So this is what I'm doing for September. I want to do 2,000 stitches on 2024 Stitch for Pride, and then I want to get 500 stitches on my other 2 samplers. So I want to get 500 stitches on Doctor Who Pillow Sampler, put it up here by Cloud Factory, and I want to get 500 stitches done on my Move Forward in Love by Modern Folk Embroidery. And then I also have other things that I want to work on. So this is, I think originally I was like, I actually don't know if I can do this, but like, this is what I'm gonna say I'm gonna do. I will say we're a week into September and I have been doing it. So if things continue how I've been stitching, then this is totally feasible. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to do 100 stitches a day on a sampler. And how I'm breaking it up is I'm doing 100 stitches a day on 2024 Stitch for Pride until I hit 1,000. Then I'm gonna switch to, I haven't really decided yet. I'm gonna switch to either Doctor Who or Move Forward in Love and do 100 stitches a day on that until I hit 500. I'm gonna go back to Stitch for Pride, stitch 1,000 stitches, and then stitch 500 on whatever the last sampler is going to be. 30 days in a month. I don't know if September has 31 or not. It has 30. So yeah, 100 stitches a day, 30 days a month. That's 3,000 stitches on samplers, and it is feasible. And I'm on track. I have done 100 stitches a day on Stitch for Pride so far. I did have to do some catch up because I spent the first 2 days of September finishing. I don't want to say stupid because it's beautiful and worthy and I'm excited to do the learning for it, but I didn't enjoy stitching that motif that much. So I start my day off by doing 100 stitches on a sampler. Then I can, if I have extra stitching time, which I don't always, but I have had, I can stitch 100, I can stitch on something else. Or I can continue to go further along on the sampler I'm working on and finish it earlier. So like for my duck, that's a really good one to like pull out and get like 50 stitches in after I finished my sampler stitching, because it's so small that 50 stitches does move it along. Or I went to the, like I said, I found a form that I needed for the DMV, so I went to the DMV to get my car registration. Side note, why does Texas doesn't have a DMV, okay? They have a tax office. So you go to the tax office to get your title and registration fixed, and then you have to go to a separate office to get your ID. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why don't they have a DMV? Like, what is wrong with a singular location for all of these things? That's neither here nor there, though. But I was at the tax office, you know, waited 2 hours for my name to be called, and so I stitched like 200 stitches on Stitch for Pride. I also loosely want to do 500 stitches on Capybara Tea Time. That's like one of my plans, you know, 500 stitches a month on it. I don't really know where that fits into my plans, to be honest. That's something I want to achieve, but I'm not like super pressed if I don't, because I can catch up next month. And I really, really, really just want to like, I think looking at I have like stitched pretty consistently this year. I have not stitched every day. That's another thing. I want to stitch every day in September, which I have not done. I've not stitched every day in a month before, and I really want to do it and like see how it feels. I'm a tiny bit worried that I'm going to burn myself out on stitching, but I'm hoping that, like, originally I was just going to do all 2,000 stitches at once on Stitch for Pride, but then I was like, let's split it up. And then I think, like, when I finish September, I'll be excited to get back to all my other projects, so hopefully that will, like, encourage me and not make me feel burnt out. It is my hobby, though, so, like, if I change my mind and decide this is too intense, I can obviously do that. And what else? Yeah, that's just like, I think my thing is like, I waffled so long on whether or not I wanted to have Stitch for Pride be my focus piece that it just wasn't. Even though deep down I knew that I kind of wanted to get this done. Like, get this done sounds so like, oh, I'm not excited. I am really excited for it. It's gonna be an achievement. And I'm gonna put it on my wall. But I'm like losing track of what I'm saying here. I'm also like losing my voice. I just find it kind of frustrating that I waffled so long that I didn't do any progress on it, and now I look back and I'm like, why didn't you just stitch like 500 stitches a month and like keep it going, you know? Why did you waffle so long and now I'm like so woefully far behind in where I wanted to be on it? Which again is like arbitrary, but like, you know, it's nice to make progress on things. Along with that, you know what, I think also people are like, everyone on Flosstube started the year strong with their goals, and now they're like, I'm not doing goal stitching anymore, I'm burnt out on that, I'm stitching on whatever I want. I started the year off being like, I'm stitching on whatever I want, and now the end of the year is coming up, and I'm looking at my progress in my whip pile, and I'm like, it's time to make some goals for the end of the year. Like, this is what we're doing. I want to clear my roster of smalls, the duck, the strawberry. I have some other ones that I'm gonna do. I want to finish the capybara. I want to get cross stitch up on my walls. And I'm not even like a progress stitcher, I would say, but something about the end of the year coming, I'm like, I don't necessarily want to carry all these things into next year because I want to start new things next year. And I can only have like a certain amount of whips or else it's gonna just stress me out. So that's that. That's all my stitching. If you're just here for the stitching, feel free to say bye. I'm gonna talk about what I've been reading, watching, and playing over the past like month. I have been reading up a storm. I would say maybe like too much. Like a little too much. It's a little like dissociating, you know? I also will say, okay, well, actually, let's start with watching. Because, like I said, I stitched 1,900 stitches in August, and that was a little bit less than I had expected, and that's because I got so sucked into The Mentalist. It was actually unbelievable, and now that I'm talking, I like took a break from it for September because I was like, I cannot be watching this much Mentalist, and I'm not even stitching while I'm watching it. Like, I just got so into The Mentalist, and I like honestly don't really watch shows like that anymore. Like, I'm a very like casual TV watcher. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV, but I used to watch a lot of crime shows, which we all know are like propaganda, but I can distinguish between reality and fiction, is how I feel about them. And something about it just like hit for me, that like nostalgic chord, and then like wanting to know, and then like of course like Jane and Liz. Unfortunately, Jane is a man. There's no lesbians, but Jane and Lisbon, they are it for me. I cannot wait until that happens. I've got like 4 seasons left. I got more than 4 seasons left, but I literally had to take a break from it because I was so obsessed with it. And I was like, I have to get back to stitching. Like, my life just fell into like a black hole of like, get up, watch The Mentalist in bed, go to work, watch an episode before bed, get up, watch The Mentalist in bed, go to work, you know? Was it a bit of like a depression hole? Maybe. So that's what I did at the end of August. I think that's why I'm so motivated to stitch this month too, because I was like, healthy habits, Catherine. At the very least, if you're gonna watch The Mentalist, stitch during it. And that's what I've been watching. That's it. Okay, that's all I've been watching. And then for reading, that was like also part of it. I was doing a lot of reading. I would say like, okay, so I read Burn For Me by Alana Andrews, and it's like the Hidden Legacy series. And there's like 6 books, and it's kind of split into 3 and 3. So I've read the first 3, that are all following the same female main character's POV, and then the second 3 follow her sisters, and it was really good. The first 2, bangers. Unfortunately, the third one, she's like they've already she's admitted feelings for the the male interest. He's admitting feelings for her, and they're like in love, and I just felt it was like not as good when they were like past the hump. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not here for this like sappy stuff. But I did really enjoy that, and I read all 3 in like 3 days. And then unfortunately, like, Storygraph is on my phone, so I'm trying to think of like what else I read. I don't need to go through every book. I read a lot of books, but yeah, the Burn For Me really did it for me until the 3rd one. Unfortunately, I am in the middle of I'm actually in the middle of like 3 audiobooks. Like, I started it gets the hold ends on Libby. I have to send it back, and then I'm never listened to it again. But I'm like, I need to finish an audiobook by the end of the year because this is getting ridiculous. And so I'm technically in the middle of 2 already, but I think I'm gonna finish Green Teeth, but I'm gonna do this other one that I just started first, and that is Heretical Fishing. I forget who it's by, but it's a TTRPG, which is like, or I guess it's not a TTRPG. That would be like tabletop role-playing game. It's a lit RPG. So it's like kind of Dungeons and Dragons inspired plot. Kind of. Or like video game inspired plot where you like, I don't know. They're called lit RPGs. I read Dungeon Crawler Carl, which we talked about in my last video. was blown away. It's phenomenal. That one is quite D&D because you're literally like rolling through a dungeon. Unfortunately, I don't have Audible. I don't care to get Audible. And Libby does not have Dungeon Crawler Carl, so I had to like get it in physical form from the Austin Public Library, which like is fine. I love the Austin Public Library, but like there's so many holds on it. And I'm not buying it because they're only in hardback and in hardcover, and I just can't buy hardcover books, okay? I move every year. I can't be trucking around hardcover books. I can't even really be trucking around the amount of books that I have. And I recently bought a few new books. I really, actually at this point, only buy nonfiction because I know it's going to take me a while to read and I like to annotate them. But I have really been like a library girl because I don't want to spend the money and I don't want to be trucking those books around. Anyway, so I started Heretical Fishing. It's really good. The audiobook is 24 hours long, which is crazy, but like it's very soothing. It's almost like a cozy lit RPG, and it's about this guy who he's like a billionaire and he decides to give it all up and become a fisherman. But then the day that he does that, he gets hit by a car and he gets transported and he dies, but then he wakes up in like a parallel universe or something. And he like it's essentially isekai, I think is how you say it in anime, where you die and then you wake up in like you're not in a video game, you wake up in like a fantasy world and you have to like defeat the boss, which I was watching on Crunchyroll, to be honest. I think it was like that time I befriended a goddess or something. I can't even remember. It's like an okay genre of anime, I would say. It gets a little tired and like you really gotta be careful with the anime and the female main characters. But anyway, to the point, it's like that. If you've ever watched that, then it's like that. But it's almost like cozy because the whole point, his name is Fisher. He named himself Fisher. Is that Fisher just wants to fish, but then he's like drawn into this world where he's supposed to be like he's reincarnated as like the chosen one, and he's like, actually I just want to fish. And everyone's like, what? And he's like, but he keeps getting drawn into it. It's really funny. It's like kind of tongue-in-cheek. I think it's really funny. Really like that. In terms of playing, I've been on my Pokemon grind. I have Scarlet and I'm almost done. I've almost defeated it because I really wanted to get Pearl, but then I was like, you have to finish the Pokemon game that you have in order to buy a new Pokemon game. So I'm like grinding through Scarlet so I can get Pearl, which I had on the DS, but I want to get it on my Switch because I like the new Pokemon games. Of the Switch ones, I've only played Scarlet and I like it, but it doesn't feel like the games that I grew up with in a lot of ways. Like it's not really the sprite style or the pixelated, which I guess is supposed to be like an improvement, but I am kind of sad about it. And it just feels like more childish. I don't know if maybe I'll play Pearl as a 25-year-old and be like, actually, you're crazy. You just played this when you were a child. But something about the older ones, they just like had like enemies and villains. I'm like, where'd the villains go? In Scarlet, the villains are like bullies. I don't know. It's just a little childish for me. Anyway, so I'm excited about that. And then I've been playing Stardew Valley a little bit. 1.7 or 2.7 or whatever. The announcement. Yeah. That's gonna be crazy. I only played on the Switch though, so it'll take forever to come out because it'll come on PC and then I'll have to port it to the Switch and that'll take forever, but I'm excited. That's kind of it. I don't really have any like life updates. Yeah. I guess my PSA at the end of this is I'm from Washington, D.C. That's where I grew up, and really bad things are happening there right now. They make me very sad. There's a federal occupation of D.C. going on right now. They're trying to do the same in Chicago, which I think is getting a lot of national attention, and I'm really happy about that, but I want to say that this has been going on in D.C. And it looks like maybe the National Guard will be taken out of DC soon. We'll see, but this is like an overarching plot to take over DC and disenfranchise its very diverse and beautiful and inclusive residents. And the news does not really cover it, so I urge you to keep an eye out for that and to educate yourself on what's happening, because it is the capital of our country and it's really important what happens there. And you know, like 800,000 people live there. It's not just the government. I grew up there, my mom grew up there, her mom grew up right across the border in Maryland, when it was still farmland, and so it's very important to me. And I just wanted to end my video and say that. Anyway, I hope everyone is having as good of a time as they can be in these trying times. I hope you're taking care of yourself, whether that is rotting and watching a TV show or waking up and deciding that you actually cannot do that anymore and you need to go do laundry. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.